Prince of Alina on the outside is the challenger. Zakas is closing in. Yendel put the whip in the left hand. Prince of Alina, Adelaide Ace. A stirring go. Adelaide Ace. Prince of Alina. Who's the fittest? Adelaide Ace.
Welcome to Bet Doctor, a behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host Scoot, and I'm joined by the punters punter DK.
Yes, Scooty. Yes, we're out of sort of hard house arrest lockdown. We've sort of some light at the end of the tunnel, even though. Not this area, Scoot. You didn't get down to South Melbourne Market or anything the other day, did you? You're all sweet?
Yeah, I missed the hot spot by, I don't know, an hour or so.
Oh, beauty.
So, yeah, got away with one there.
Yeah, anyway.
But they were closed yesterday, so no seafood lunch. No fish tacos from After Seafood. They are absolute Mickey Mouse. And so now we're going to have to go back to the benchmark 58 hunky-dory that Walt swears by.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
So, yeah, been relegated. So everyone's affected by COVID. But, yeah, dodged a big bullet there. But I don't go to that coffee shop, and none of those stores sort of interest me anyway. Yeah. So it'll be ships in the night.
2 weeks on lockdown if you had been. So that's how close it is.
We'd do the show, I guess, all out of cocoons, I guess, all on Zoom, and we'd have to go back to the old school way of doing it. But, yeah, I don't know. I think we're pretty right here. I'm not scared. How are you, Nico?
Sweet. Big week coming ahead, boys. Flemington on Saturday. A couple of tricky meetings at Sandown Wednesday and last Saturday. So keen to get back to HQ. And it was a big weekend of racing last weekend, of course, with Group 1, Stradbroke Day, Zaki winning, Ayrton winning. So, some real nice horses running that sort of a look forward to the spring last Saturday was for sure.
Swan Hill as well. It was a big weekend up there, wasn't it?
Massive. Absolutely
of
massive.
Racing, but let alone no crowds, which is a shame. But that track race, terrific. Like sometimes it can get a bit chopped up and everything, can't it? But they did a great job up there, that track manager.
Yeah, it was outstanding. You saw even on the last day, Yendel just dominated that day 3. What do you have, 5 winners, I'm pretty sure.
Perfect spot to back him, isn't it? That's his go.
Yeah. Love backing him in those. But he was on the right horses, and I mean he's getting opportunities with some of those riders again. Those riders up north. It's opening doors for other riders at the moment.
St. Arnica was an easy watch, and a tough watch for us was Dexalation. You're in the office with me, Nico.
Oh, gee, we were pretty flat after that.
Proverbial pimple, wasn't it?
Oh, yuck.
Bee's knee.
Yuck.
That was a sick beat. I thought he'd won, actually. I thought the camera angle will sort of swing around and we'll get the bob in, and then they showed the photo and we were no chance. So that was a very sick beat. I think I backed 4 seconds at Swan Hill on Saturday, so... Sunday was actually a good day. We sort of turned it around on Sunday, and then Sandown Wednesday was okay as well. Back in G Begg, who you also got aboard this week.
He's been good to the Little Birdie crew. Love G Begg.
You love him, don't you?
Love G Begg. So that was 1 week. I mean I had the thing was I had a similar horse, a horse that was probably mapped similar on Sunday, and it was a train wreck. And then you sort of got to gear yourself up to say, oh, this thing might be a bit grubby out of the gates and everything Tuesday and whatnot, might end up better on the fence. But you've got to wait, it sort of balances out. It was a train wreck Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever it was. Everything went perfect. Got the beautiful run through, like I'd hoped the thing Sunday did, and it got the chocolates. So, love G Begg, good trainer.
Would have been an interesting stream. It would have been a big finale with Adelaide Ace in the Swan Hill Cup. Had we done a 2 or a 3-day stream, it would have been an absolute roller coaster. There was it was a nice bookie smash at Newcastle that was $5.50 into $5 into $2.40 back out to $3.70, and then we just had a sprinkling of winners across the 3 days. But I thought the Ayrton win was huge, and I think he surprised me a little bit how well he went at the mile. And then I see some of the ratings guys put him up against Zaki, which it's hard to do because they're different races in my opinion. But I think he's got a brighter future than I probably gave him credit for, Ayrton.
Yeah, the only was getting beat at short odds second up was the only, but
chink. Yeah.
Chink was the chink, but we've been spruiking him the rest of the time. But he's gone terrific there, and the market had they knew they rock solid at that short odds. Like there's a good spruik out for Ellsberg from people that knew that know that horse well, that he could beat it. But the market said no, one's $1.75 and one's $3.80 or something, and that market was right, and he went terrific at it, and he's run good time, went quicker than the JJ Atkins, rated better than it, and which is a Group 1 race. So, he's a proper horse, that horse.
It's got a great will to win, doesn't it? You sort of saw that last 200 metres of that race where he just really knuckled down and savaged the line there. I thought that was probably the most impressive part of his work. Looking forward to the spring. He looks a very exciting horse. I don't know if you're ever going to get a massive opportunity to back him in anything because he's probably going to be short odds in a lot of these races, but... there's exciting times for Australia.
That's right,
racing.
and he's got all those attributes that everyone loves. He puts himself on pace, finds the line. He's a winner. So those. But anyway, it'd be just good watching him. Hopefully something pops up. You never know. There's a rapid improving horse might find his way to compete against him. But anyway, no, they've got a good army. So they're again roll the dice, mate. Good weekend. So Narnica was there.
Yeah,
so,
they're going all right.
Yeah, they're going all right. They're going all right.
Them.
Good on them.
It's an interesting one with no crowds at the moment, and you won't be on track again at Flemington. And I just see there's a tweet pop out, and it's Martin Pakula on RSN. All going well with the show. Is satisfied that chains of transmission have ended or are unable to infect anyone else. We'll be talking to race officials in the next couple of weeks. I tell you what, it just doesn't seem there's been enough change, or we haven't learned many lessons in the last 18 months. I went to Sandown a few weeks ago to watch Britannicus run, and there would only be 400 people at best there. There's probably 200 people that need to go there to earn their living, and I think RV need to come up with a different exemption for people that are heavily invested in the sport from a punting perspective, and then owning horses and connect like syndicates or other promoters of the game somehow. And there's one thing to have sort of media accreditation, but I think there needs to be another exemption if you're a full-time worker or if you derive your wage or income from the racing industry. And there's a lot of people that need to go on track to punt and do various things. But I think in 18 months, RV haven't sort of done enough for blokes like you, Nico.
100%. Like we're not the only ones that sort of provide that sort of service and haven't been able to go to the track. There's a few other people out there that are in a very similar sort of scenario to us, and relying on what we see on the TV from now, which is very hard. As I've sort of learned over the last few weeks, like you get 20 seconds to look at a horse, whereas you're on track, you can look at one horse parade for 3 minutes if you want to, and sort of really sort of dive in and see how they're walking and all those kind of things, which is what I really like to do. So yeah, it definitely makes things hard. I think you're right. There definitely needs to be some sort of other exemption to say, well, they have their participants that are, I suppose they're essential sort of things. So I've actually been to the races a fair few times working as a cameraman, as sort of my other job pre that, and it's very strange. It's just sort of you there with the strappers and the trainers, and they're the only people on track, the people that have to be there. But I think with the situation we're in now, where everything's starting to open back up a bit. You can go to restaurants and things like that. Surely you can get,
a bigger cap,
an extra 50 people to the races or something.
But there's not many people go anyway.
Yeah, like I think if
midweek, Saturday's the only day, and the members go to their, Flemington and all that sort of thing. But the rest of the meetings, no, you can fire a can in the joint. So, but none of it's made any sense. With community sport, kids sport, and all that. This what have they made the rules on the weekend that parents and carers and everyone can go to the kids sport, but spectators can't.
Kittens
every spectator that there is a parent or a guardian, one of the junior kids, so.
Kittens is back open, DK. Something.
Cecil Street?
Yeah, Cecil Street's back open, but can't have more than 2 people. And then, as you say, you're only allowed to go to community sport if it's deemed essential and you have to be there. Give us a spell.
Makes it, but and then how big like I said, we spoke about it with Swan Hill. How big a space are these race courses on? I mean, the problem with the virus is the confined spaces,
Yeah, exactly. Outside transmission, there's no evidence.
Mate, please.
I think RV need to push harder, and especially with someone like Martin Pakula, who's always been said to be, heavily favoured with racing.
He's a racing man.
He's a racing man, but we need more done.
There's no doubt about it. It's hurting turnover with people not being able to get to the track. Like the big betting syndicates, they send yard people to go and watch the yard. There's been meetings where, if I was on track, certain horses I could have had a better look at that, say, we could have bet up on. And, there's a few subscribers to my stuff. And, if we're not betting, they're not betting, sort of thing. So I have no doubt that it's hurting turnover with the sort of
all the
implications they got at the moment.
You see, Nat Hinckley spent more time in New South Wales and Queensland. She's on a...
Yeah, she's got out of the joint this time.
She's got out of the joint. So, I really feel for the on-course bookies and those sort of staff that keep fronting up. And, it's there just needs to be a change, and there needs to be like a second level of accreditation, because the current state of affairs isn't good enough. And something else that isn't good enough is New South Wales, they're slow to pull their socks up at Racing New South Wales around minimum bet laws. And I think it's time that changes. I tried to back a horse the other day thinking that the rules had changed, or was just waiting for it just to test it out. I opened an account at one of my bookmakers that had previously been useless, and I couldn't get on there. And I think what part of the problem is in New South Wales, there's a bit of bickering over robots and how bets are placed. So punters who use automated systems to place bets, which you probably have to if you're a big bettor, because otherwise bookies would turn the price off and price rejections. And if you're trying to spread your money across multiple bookmakers at once, if you can just push one button with a robot, it's easier to get your money on across the betting joints. And if bookies are going to use robots to scrape prices and they're going to gut their trading teams...
That's what I was just going to say. You're saying the robots... model, an automated model can't bet. They put the bet on. What's turning the prices off is an automated
it's
model
a robot
anyway.
back the other
it's robot
way.
versus robot.
Exactly.
What's the difference?
So I think that needs addressing ASAP. RV have led the way there, but Racing New South Wales, it's the most expensive place to bet in the world, I think.
My original theory on that was that, and this was going back, was that I didn't think a robot backing it in 20 spots at once was in the in the theme of minimum bet laws, what they were brought out for, But as I've got along and years gone by, the years have gone past, and the corporate bookmakers have been more automated with everything and got rid of their staff because they can use robots. Why not? I've changed my thinking and thinking, why not? Why can't someone have one of those? So, yeah.
Fight fire with fire, sort of thing. Yeah, I think it's a bit of an unfair advantage at the moment, and I see the flux early in the markets, and they all follow similar bookies, and I swear to God they make it look like every horse is shortened. If you have a look at a sports bet market, a day or so out, it looks like every horse is shortened. So the pickle punter out there goes, oh yeah, there's been money for this. Oh, there's been money for this. If you look down the whole entire card, and they're just tiny little fluctuations. And when I mention odds moves on this show, if a horse has gone off one, like a half roll or a roll, I don't even bother saying it's a market mover because it isn't.
You couldn't even begin to think, and this is to the layperson out there, what sort of what the corporates have put in to being good at that stuff. When was I there? 10 years ago now. Yep. They had a quants team, 10 years ago. A quants team looking at all that stuff to automate, to build models, to make these things more efficient, how to turn the price off, how to weight things more and things like that, let alone 10 years down the track.
Yep.
And now look what they've done, As I said, with the turning the price off, with how they weight and they have the speed of it. And so, I mean, it's what you're up against. You're up against very sophisticated stuff, very, very sophisticated stuff.
And the other news overnight was Aidan O'Brien. I haven't seen much of Royal Ascot. There's just too much to bet on at the moment with sport and racing in Australia and America, especially with the NBA playoffs and things like that. But Aidan O'Brien's come out and said that it's probably impossible for their camp to take a horse with this new nuclear scan, injecting the dye into the system and keeping a horse in its box for 4 days. So I tell you what, everyone's just going to buy their horses earlier. We've spoken about it before, but there's just going to be the lack of international interest. And then I guess if horses fail, the precedent is that that other jurisdictions are probably backed into the corner and can't race their horse, like the horse in other races as well. So I'm not sure if RV, have they pandered too much to the minority groups here? And I think it's hard. Can they go back on it now? What are they going to do? They're in a really tough spot because they spent all this money promoting this to the internationals, making this big worldwide race, and now they're stuck.
The most important thing for our sport is equine welfare above anything else at the moment, right? The other thing is it had swung too far to the internationals. What was it? It's just gone too far. Like they tried to get a couple when Media Puzzle whatever won, and now it's gone to the whole shooting match. So it'll find some middle ground. I don't care if a few of them don't come or whatever. All the rich guys here will go and buy them. They're racing for how much they racing for? You see John Gosden won a Group 1 the other day. Couldn't give a shit. Just watch his horse go past and said, was it him, John Gosden?
Yeah,
they put the footage up yesterday. Yeah. He was like Ryan Moore, just being grumpy after winning a Group 1. So I don't care if those people don't come.
So it's okay if I want to buy a horse from the UK, I buy it 12 months earlier and then race it here. Don't have to go through these tests. And then what happens if the horse breaks down anyway and it's a European bred horse?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it goes through as long as it's gone through the scans that it's got to before the Melbourne Cup to pass the tests and everything like that. The vets give it the all clear. It's fine. But that's the best thing. They're getting them out of here and acclimatising. And Lloyd Williams always says that. I mean, the hit and run missions have been good, but he said those stays. You listen to the trainers; they're always better after a prep year.
Yeah, 100%.
It'll be interesting to see. I just think it's a slippery slope. Start to pander to the minor groups, and then there'll be something else. The accidents will still come, in my opinion, and it'll just be trying to keep them off the front page. But the media are great. The media will come out and say, oh, yeah,
Right, the same meter who put it on the front page of the paper.
Exactly.
Like,
they just swing both ways. It's like a business.
There'll be a maiden hurdle today. If something breaks down in a maiden hurdle today, there's some chance it'll be on the front page tomorrow.
But they're no different to COVID. They cheer the lockdowns, and then they go, "Oh, poor business owner here," and they just love the push and pull, and to promote the fear and the trauma, and go to the extremes of both sides. I don't think you cater for it at all. It's just bullshit.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely be. Like, I can see DK's point in saying, it probably went too far with all the internationals were coming. I think it would definitely be a loss if, a team like Aidan O'Brien says nothing here, because you look at sort of last spring, he ran second in the Cox Plate with Armoury, second in the Melbourne Cup with Tiger Moth. Like, if we're losing those really sort of quality horses...
Is it just for the Cup that they have to go through that thing? Or is it if they come out? Like, can you run a Cox Plate horse without going through that?
I'm pretty sure it might be all of them by the sounds of things, because they're all sort of... Well, if you're an international, you all go to Werribee, you do all those things. So I would imagine it's the same for a lot of them.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see what happens with a race like the Cox Plate.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Might be a good year to be Zaki.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. That was my first thought just then. That could be all over.
Might inspire a couple of breeders to race their horses on. You might see less retired to stud. Or am I dreaming?
Yeah, well, it's just
dreaming. too much money with him going to stud.
Yeah.
Incredible. All right, we might get John Kelton's opinion on that one. He buys and trades a lot of horses. He'll be up first. He's going to preview Murray Bridge. We've got Walt to talk Rose Hill. He's found the camel race up there, and Nico's going to have a look at a couple of races at Flemington. And we're going to take a short break, but make sure you're betting with Punting Form or doing your form with puntingform.com.au. They are the best sectional times database. They've got sectional times for Australia, Singapore and Hong Kong, and we can't bet without it, so make sure you check out puntingform.com.au today. We'll talk Murray Bridge Racing next. Welcome back to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host, Scoot. I've got DK and Nico Noonan in studio, and we've got Eagle. We've got Johnny Kelton dialing in from Adelaide. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, thanks, Nick. G'day, boys.
Tell you what, you got a collector's item on the melon there, the Patinack Farm hat. We might have to auction that off for charity. There wouldn't be many of those floating around, mate. Tinkler. Wow.
Wouldn't be too many left now, I wouldn't have thought.
It's an absolute relic. That one, we're just talking earlier before about the new rules in the Melbourne Cup, and Aidan O'Brien's come out last night and said basically it's almost impossible for him to bring a horse out for the Cup with this new nuclear test and the dye running through the horses' systems. What's your opinion on the matter, Eagle?
Yeah, look, the Melbourne Cup's a race that a lot of people outside the industry watch rather than just racing people themselves. So our perception of racing is probably governed a lot by what happens in that race more than anything else. And for one reason or another, whether it's been bad luck or bad management, the race has got a poor safety record in the last 10 years. So something has to change. We can't have some of the world's most expensive horse flesh come over here and never return home, such as the Galileo horse that came out last year. So we've got to leave no stone unturned to make sure it's as safe as we can. We know that it's a grueling race. We know it's a high-pressure race and accidents may happen, but we've got to try to do everything we can to make it as safe as possible.
Fair call too. And Nico Noonan is just off air. He's just saying how the tried horse market is just absolutely white hot, very hard to buy a horse at the moment. What are your insights around that? And it sounds like you stole one off him. He reckons Parsifal was a horse that the Noonans were looking at, and you guys scooped it up before they got a look at it.
Yeah, they could probably buy it back pretty cheap now. It's on 3 weeks at the moment. When we bought him, when I bought him, I'm guessing about 2.5 years ago. The market's changed a lot now. What you could buy for 40 or 50,000 then is a lot different to what you can get now. Those horses seem to be making 80 or 100 pretty regularly now. A lot of horses with lowish ratings, people are buying on potential and paying up to 100 grand. The tried market in Australia has been really tough for us to get into in the last few months. Will Clarken's he's looked to New Zealand a bit to buy tried horses in the last year or two, and like a lot of the other trainers, probably looking over into the UK as well, into that market a little also.
And that's what we were saying before. Maybe the UK market's going to hot up a little bit earlier, given the new scans at the 11th hour.
Just no surprise. They've had a look at New Zealand. Just watching it, there's a few New Zealand horses over here at the moment, young lightly raced horses, and go and have a look at their replays and then what they race for over there. Dead set race for ribbons.
Yeah,
Like they're $10,000 races or less. It's $5,000 to the winner and all this. Like no wonder they're copping. Get over here and cop a prize for them and stay in and win some good prize money.
Yeah, well, I think it's a result of the monopoly that the New Zealand TAB got. And we speak about it before. It's not really a punter's market. You haven't got products like punting form to get your sectional data. The tracks are like a mess. They've tried to do an overhaul with the bloke that's just started at Racing Australia, one of the breeders, but it's not a punter's domain over there. So how are you going to promote the game? The guys at Boys Get Paid are massively hamstrung with what they can do and say, and they can't promote anything. But that's one good thing about the corporates. Everyone bitches and moans about corporate bookmakers and stuff like that. But to promote the game and the extra investment that they put in the game, you need to stimulate the market. You need to have competition. You just can't have one old TAB product that doesn't spend the extra money on marketing and doesn't put the extra effort in to promote the game. It just doesn't grow the game.
100%. And you look at sort of some of their better horses in New Zealand that have come over here in recent sort of times, like Very Elegant could have stayed there and, could have been one of their top horses. Instead, she comes over here as a lightly raced horse and becomes, seat 1 or seat 2 here in Australia. They're definitely losing some quality stock. I even back one of Clarkins the other day, I reckon, who trialled up in New Zealand or had a race in New Zealand and since come to Australia. King of the Castle. He didn't really sort of run up to how I thought he'd go at Murray Bridge, but they're definitely looking at those sort of angles. And you see a lot of these, younger trainers like Will Clark and Mitch Beer. That's sort of what that's what they're making their business models on. Early days, a lot of tried horses, get him to a weaker racing jurisdiction that they've been running in, and that's probably why a few of these are sort of going for overs because there's a big market, and you throw in the highways up in Sydney as well. With the money they can get there. Like you see, if those horses, some of them were still running in Victoria, they'd be 64 horses. Yeah, they can go to Sydney and run for, metro grade prize money. So, very competitive at the moment, tried horse buying.
Well, we saw that, mate. Eagle, there's a maiden, there's a maligned maiden over here called Jeremy, right? Now, Jeremy's had 13 or 14 starts. He's what mate of mine, Mark Roden I used to work with. He's a herd horse, a pack horse. He won't run past him. Right, so he goes in the tried sale 2 weeks ago after his fifth defeat and he's deep in the first prep. 35,000. Like 35,000, that means with X's and everything, say 6 months in training and whatnot, there's 50,000 it's got to win back. How's it win 50,000 back? That horse. Like, please. That just shows, what are your thoughts on that, Eagle?
When they get stuck in that maiden or 58 grade, you'd often be surprised if you're a hobby trainer or someone who's training them out of the country, these horses win a lot of money for just bashing around in these maidens. They're racing for that. Jeremy will generally racing maidens that are of 35. If he's smashing through a second or third every week, he's banking a bit of cash.
Funny thing was, he'd won 34,000 in prize money in those placings the other day. In his 8 placings or 7 placings, he won 34,000, but it taken him. It's still...
Surely the angle there is to if you're going to buy him for that, you'd get him out of Victoria.
Well, they just gave him straight back to the same trainer. That was the thing to me, anyway. Instead of sending him down to Warrnambool and maybe try and get him to jump or something, Anyway. But I just thought
that maiden that Bryce Stanaway had that had about 100 and something starts, I think she earned $100,000, didn't she?
Yeah, that's Castano Mille. Was that right? Yeah.
Castano Mille. I reckon she's earned $100,000 or 100 plus.
Mainly in rebates and things like that, anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you have a winner the other day, Eagle? Hills? Did I see that pop?
Hills we had win the other day. It's a mare we've had a couple of problems with. It's another one that we bought at a tried sale. And looking at that now, I'm pretty confident we've got her reasonably cheap. She's had a couple of issues that Will's been able to get right after a long spell. And, she was really impressive last week. And she's actually running again Saturday at Murray Bridge.
And short odds too, isn't she? Looks like she might win again.
220.
If she ran like she did last Saturday, she would win. She's in an easier race. She's about $2 or $2.10 at the moment. I'm pretty confident that she's not a bad bet at that. I'd have to probably mark her slightly into the red.
I just thought I'd just keep you honest with that one because you've left that off the run sheet, and I did notice that you pinched it from it was the next Tony McAvoy horse. So you've done really well there. Let's try and find a couple of winners at Murray Bridge this Saturday and get the show on the road. Let's have a look at race 7. Too Good Too Hard. I think it was the last start winner. $4.20 favourite, and then Midnight Storms 5 into $4.40. Street Tough $7.50. Extreme Thrill $7.50. Trip 10 into $8.50 and Free of Debt $10. The replay that we're going to watch is Midnight Storm here, Eagle. Talk us through this one.
Yeah, this horse has gone to Leon McDonald, Andrew Lewis at the start of this prep, and it's probably having a career best prep. And I'd say this run here is a PB for the horse. Had a lot of things go right for it around the inner track where they left it alone, but the horse was very strong down the straight, and it backs up again 7 days later. It's in a harder race this Saturday at Murray Bridge, but the horse is absolutely flying. It loves a bit of sting out of the ground, and it maps to get a lovely run Saturday. So I thought it appealed as first pick in that race.
Yeah, Midnight Sky, the big grey there.
Wet track, model.
Grey horse, wet tracks. You boys will be on it.
Grey's in the wet. Just irresistible.
I still don't know if DK's G'ing me up or not with this. He's just greyed me up.
All the people with, who say, they're going for, if I go and say it, they're going to fork out the stats and say it's rubbish, but I'm telling you, you just know something.
DK, I like the greys in the wet.
Yeah, if you like one and you see it's a wet track, you have some more on it, Gives you a bit of extra confidence.
Nico?
Rarely see a grey these days.
There's
but
not many of them left.
I suppose you boys are sort of looking back to like Scalacci and those kind of horses, greys in the wet.
Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero, yeah.
Yeah, there's some good ones in the old days.
I still don't know if he's...
It was that day when he won the Melbourne Cup, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, I just can't cop this. But they are. I think Nico's right. There's not many. They're a bit of a dying breed. It's a bit
there was a heap going through in the bloodlines in the 80s and 90s from the bleeding, but nearly bred them out. Yeah,
like us redheads.
There aren't too many grey sires at the moment. Probably back 10 or 20 years ago, there were some of those sires that were grey.
Plush and things like that.
Was Lion Hunter a grey as well?
It was.
Yeah. Most of them come to an early end. All right, let's have a look at... so we're going to stick with the grey in race 7. Midnight Storm, that's probably Kelton's money, 5 into 4.40. Would not surprise me whatsoever. And then race 8 is the next one. The Railway Hotel Tailem Bend Handicap over 1,600 metres. We need to get to the railway soon, DK.
Yes, we will be there. Might be next week.
Pearl Bandit's the favourite here, $3 into $2.80. Scottish Dancer, $6 to $5.
We know in here, Nico.
Here's the Barman, $12 into $10. Peloton. We've backed this one before with Beat the Bagman, who's still on holidays. You can't get him back. Dazzling Damsel, $12.
Swanning around up McLaren Vale or something the other day, wasn't he, with the missus? I saw on the...
I did
of course
see
he
that.
was. Yeah.
It's just going that good. He's just picking and choosing. I think he's had 7 best on grounds, and he'll only come on when he's got
How
got
blessed
a winner.
are they being an hour from the wine districts? Like, seriously, you're just blessed over there, Eagle. Blessed.
You wouldn't be.
I'd be up there.
You'd be in all sorts.
I'd probably
You'd be
take my
zooming in from the Barossa or McLaren Vale.
That's it.
We're going to have a look at the favourite here, the replay of the favourite, Pearl Bandit. In It Zip Home, last 400 here. Eagle. Where is it?
This is a really impressive win from Pearl Bandit here. The horse is, puts them away and ends up sort of arrogantly strolling in by about 4. One thing to note about this horse, right at the end of last prep, they put blinkers on him, and he's never worn blinkers in his life up to then. He's had 30-something starts now, so it was an interesting gear change, and it's turned the horse into a completely different horse. He's gone up a couple of classes, and he's just absolutely flown. He only had one run that prep with blinkers on and won easily. And he's come back this prep, and every single start he's had this prep, he's had 4 of them. I reckon he's run super. His last run there that we just watched is a career best. He could even come off that run a little bit and still win this race at Murray Bridge on Saturday. He's over 1,600 metres. He's won 6 out of 18 over that trip. The horse is absolutely flying, and if he runs anything like that, he should be winning. This race has got a fair bit of depth, but it's got a few horses that are at various stages of their preps, and I'm not sure whether too many of these other horses are going to peak. I think the logical danger is Scottish Dancer. That horse was quite impressive, winning at Bendigo last start. Late in a bit, it's got a one-eyed blinker going on for this run. And the guy who trains that, Andrew Bobbin, hasn't been training for too long, but seems to have a very good training record. So I'd probably label it as the danger. But Pearl Bandit, I think, is just flying. And if it doesn't win, it'll be right in the finish.
Any thoughts here?
Well, Scottish Dancer,
There's a few we know.
I fell into Scottish Dancer declaring it a good horse on debut when I went like a rocket down the straight at Benalla one day, just let rip. And at half pie did it the other day, but you just can't trust him. Like he's got that gear, he lays in. I mean, B. Vorster, he's a good rider for him, B. Vorster, but there looks to be two of him. Another roller dice horse.
Another roller
dice horse. It's got some ability, but he did skip home in good sections the other day.
Beat Cafe Tortoni, who's
that's good
since
form.
won at Swan Hill.
Yeah, that's good form, but that might be a rung down from that winner. Geez, that winner was impressive. That Pearl Bay.
He looked good, didn't it?
He bolted in. Scottish Dancer, I think the improvement came maybe in the yard. I saw him first up at Ballarat and was kind of looking to find him, and he just kind of wasn't there. He sweated up a bit there, so I would have definitely thought he improved off that going into Bendigo with a good win. Some usual suspects here. He is the Barberman.
He's going all right. He won good first up, and then
I think he's a bit of a fresh horse. Like he seems to do a lot of his best
won his
racing
maiden
fresh.
That's why I didn't get any money out of him. I'm filthy. He won a 10-1 his maiden. His first prep was good, and I said, he'll be a horse. I'll back, once he gets to a mile, 2,000, and then he bloody won first up, and he went sort of unfancied. But he'll just map ordinaries. I think he's drawn a wide gate there, but he's going all right. But still, again, I don't know if they can beat that favourite.
It was pretty impressive, wasn't it? Sat in a good spot and then just careered away from him. Outstanding stuff. Kelton, I tell you what, you two boys just over in Adelaide, you make it look easy. And it might be a real tough day for the bookies over at Murray Bridge with Hills earlier on in the day and then you tipping one there in race 8 at the short odds. And Midnight Storm, you could really do some damage. So the punters, the Saturdays lately have been somewhat tricky. So it'd be good to see the bookies just get absolutely hammered, and hopefully you've steered us into a winner. Thanks for your insights yet again, Eagle, and we'll chat to you soon.
No worries. Thank you very much. Cheers, boys.
See ya.
We'll take a little bit of a break here, and we'll come back and have a look at headquarters Flemington with Nico. Welcome back to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host, Scoot. Got DK here, and Nico Noonan's about to let rip into the Flemington card. He's going to preview his best 2 races, and just a bit of a shout out to all the members of Flemington, Sandown, Caulfield, who are doing it tough and just still stumping up the cash to renew your memberships. I think I've been to the races once in the last, once or twice, I think, in the last sort of 6-12 months. I know I haven't been to the footy much, but I tell you what, the race clubs have been bleeding. But I think hat tip to the members for
spot on, Scott. I think if you're
stumping up.
If you're a member of an organisation, you support that organisation. That's part of being a member, and you go through the highs and you go through the lows. It's like your local footy club, any sort of membership. So again, the race clubs are doing it up, but I assume their members are really supportive and not begging them for money back and refunds and discounts and things, and just sort of going along with it and doing the best they can.
So hang in there, members, and really feel for you in these tough times. Let's try and make it easier, and we'll try and find a winner in race 4 at Flemington, the Bruce Gadsden handicap over 1420 metres. Interesting distance there. Wishful Thinking's a favourite 420, poised to reign 5 into 440. Lindhout is being 7 into 650. It'll pop up on the TopSport big bets, and Don't Tell the Boss, $8. Nico, you like one a little bit further out in the market. Maxi Mac here. Let's have a look at its replay. It's around the $12 quote.
Yeah, it was. She's a pretty handy sort of filly. Oh man, now Maxi Mac. Definitely be suited to the wet track. This is her trial at Terralgan. You see her coming out of the barriers here, and she's currently last in a piece of work. Leading the field up's Ravens Blaze on the inside. Elite Legacy sort of in behind her. They've both been to Mornington and run well out of this piece of work. I thought this was pretty sharp work by Maxi Mac. You probably won't see it for another sort of 300 metres before she really gets into her work, but when she does, it's a pretty impressive sort of stuff. She's since coming back from Adelaide, where she went over there, she ran 3rd in the Queen of the South Stakes, a Group 2 event behind Fabric, where Stackhouse kind of dropped the rein and she laid in over the last 200. I think she probably should have run 2nd there, and then went to 2,000 metres, and just that was probably a bridge too far. Now you watch this trial from here, punter. She comes the widest, B. Malamon, and just savages the line.
Just trucking, isn't she?
I think she's just absolutely flying this prep. 2,000 was just too far last start. Apart from that, They set her for the big race at Moonee Valley, the country race, the $500,000 race.
Yeah.
She just never got a crack at them. The soft track's going to suit there on Saturday. She gets in very light at the weights with Neindorf's claim getting him to 53 kilos. Like, she's going to be back in the field, but I think if she brings that run of 2 starts ago in the Queen of the South Stakes, where she's running third in a Group 2, I think she's worth something each way here at around sort of $12. And that recent trial just suggests that she's in very good order.
That's your answer. That's what you want to see in between that trial in between runs, isn't it?
Yeah,
exactly. Just especially if they had a little down at the start before, and the good trainers will sort of give them a trial and see where they're at, rather than sort of speculate about tipping them out or something like that. So anyway, a horse I'll ask you about, Nico, is going to be very popular. He's Lint Out. Okay, that get back, flashy run on horse hasn't had much luck. Was scratched yesterday. Big open spaces at Flemington. It'll be getting back and running on, but did get Polex out of the gates the other day, which probably costed the race.
Yeah, she's always been a filly that's shown a lot of ability. A Bendigo debut win. The riding was kind of on the wall there when she just missed a start, flashed home, and still beat him easy. She's had a bit of an interrupted sort of prep. They went to sale first up, and the market was all over her. Started $1.65. Didn't get the cash there. Started $1.85 at Cranbourne. Had no luck. I thought last start was probably a go. She drew outside of horses. And then, like you said, she got the bump at the start.
Bad bump at the start.
And then they went really slow too, so it was just nearly impossible for her to get into the race. Her closing figures were very big on punting form. She's done that before. Definitely a chance, I think, positive with Craig Newitt going aboard. Bit of a standover rider. I think Heffel's injured at the moment.
She came off at Edenhope on Sunday. She got away. She's lucky she got away. It was a bad fall. But she's all right.
Yep. So Craig going aboard there, I can't say that as a negative. He'll sort of really sort of sharpen her up and straighten her up, whipping the left hand, ripping the right hand. He can do both. So if she's going to lay in or anything like that or lay out, he'll be all over it. She's definitely a chance. It's a typical mares race. They've all sort of got a chance. But I just thought Maxi Mac was over the odds at $12. She looks like she's in really good order. Off that trial, and if she brings that run 2 starts ago, she should be closer to 6, I reckon. So happy to sort of play there each way.
And what about the horses in the market poised to reign and wishful thinking? Who's the picker?
There's a few South Australian horses. I feel about Victorians going pillaging South Australia. There's a few South Australian horses I see coming over here this weekend and off sort of good wins, and then I'll see it's one of them.
Yeah, poised to reign gets Jamie Carr. Map's probably the issue for her from barrier number 13. She'll go right back. Wishful thinking's very adaptable, fast speed, slow speed. She just gets out in front, does her own thing. Patrick Maloney's riding very well at the moment as well. So the way I'm probably going to play the race is probably get the best result out of Maxi Mac, and I might look to save Wishful thinking just because there is every chance that if she goes, slow or fast, she could just advantage herself and take everything else out of the race. So I think at $4.20, she's probably a reasonable price to sort of save or make her a small result. But Maxi Mac each way for me.
If you want to get Nico's final thoughts in the last 3 to 5 minutes of every race, head to the Little Birdie shop and check out his mounting yard mail packs for $11 per meeting. Let's have a look at race 9, the Jack Styring OAM sprint over 1,100 metres. We've got Red Can Man, 460. Montesira, feels like it goes around every week, 550. Sartorial Splendour, you could probably say the same about it, $7. The Astrologist, $9.50. Banquo, $10. And Rock Profit are the horses in the market. And we're going to have a look at Red Can Man, its last start replay in a much stronger race than this, the Winterbottom Stakes over in Ascot.
Yeah, this is him sort of blending into the race, 3 wide in the blue-red sort of winkers. This was his run coming back off a railway. So he backed up out of a Bruley Run railway into a Winterbottom. He was set the whole preparation for the railway. You look at this sort of run, I think he ran well below his best in this race and was still only beaten 3 lengths. His run on a railway was enormous. This horse is most of his forms over sort of 1,100 and 1,200 metres. He's obviously shown how much class he's got there in a Group 1 sprint. He wasn't beaten far by, Celebrity Queen since coming out here and won an Oakley Plate. Elite Street, I don't think he sort of lived up to it when he came over here, but I think he'll definitely improve. He just doesn't look the finished sort of product. You go back to this horse's last 1,100 metre when he beat Laver Rod, who's since come to Victoria and been very competitive in these races. Now, he's had 18 starts. 17 have been on good tracks. There's only been 1 on a soft track where he didn't figure in the placings. I think he ran 5th that day and was an okay sort of run. So I went back and did some digging. I said, can this horse actually handle the potential of a softer track? And I went back and watched a Larkhill trial where he led the field up, and gee, it was a good piece of work. And he accelerated through that wet ground. So I don't think that's going to be of any concern on Saturday for mine. The way he accelerated through that wet track and was actually asked to do something in that trial, no concern there. And then he's come to Victoria since now with the Bright Oak camp. Jamie Carr actually went to Traralgon.
Where? Went to Traralgon. I noticed that. She's gone there. Let's have a look at the. Let's have a look at the trial.
Yeah, if we can get the trial up, that'd be great because she
surely.
just absolutely motored home here with Jay Carr aboard, and it was a good piece of work as well. So he's had a jump out also at Mornington, so he's come back in very good order this preparation. He's got a very good sort of first up record. I'm expecting him just to sort of blend into the race from barrier number 10. He can sit wherever, and expecting him to be pretty hard to beat. He just looks like he's come here in very good order. He's got the top class Perth form, which always stacks up here, and he's actually a sprinter. So that's what they've kind of brought him over for, a few of these sort of late season winter races, maybe early spring, and try and win some prize money there. But if we can see sort of him sitting third here in the trial, and he really gets motoring late. So J Car going on to Traralgon DK can't be a bad thing.
No, that's right. Yeah, exactly. Now, just as we watch him go to the line, can I just, while we're on jump outs, can I just give a massive, massive hat tip to Matt Welsh at racing.com. The jump outs are now on the website. They're in the form
integrated
guide.
into the racing.com.
It's just, it would have taken a power of work. God knows why Flemington and Caulfield are not there yet. But it's just absolutely. I can only imagine dealing with all the race clubs and the stuff that have to go in, the work that would have to go in to get that done. So massive hat tip, Matty and the crew in there who's got that up and going.
Yeah, so we just saw him work to the line there and one red can man, so that was a very good piece of work, and I agree with DK. Matt Welsh has done a huge job in sort of getting all that together, and the whole racing.com team. I know it's been something they've been working on for a while, so it's making things a lot easier at the moment in Victoria.
Things can change over time, and William Thomas is another one that we're going to have a look at in its latest trial too, or jump out.
Yeah, this is at Cranbourne. William Thomas, he's in the white colours. He'll be taken right back. I'm pretty sure he's last currently or nearabouts. This horse, I think he's a dead set 1100 metre horse. He's had 7 goes at the distance for 4 wins, and he's pretty good fresh as well. That seems to be where he does his best racing. 6 starts, 3 wins and a third. I think he's just going to get the perfect run here, what you want to see down the straight. They probably won't go too fast early. Sartorial Splendor, although he's a leader, he's been going quite slow to the 600 in a few of his races. So if he does that here, a horse like William Thomas has a huge turn of foot, which we're about to see in this jump out, where he's sort of coming wide and blending into the race. I think he's in the blue cap there in the white colours, and he's just about to absolutely storm to the line. Yes, he's a sharp sprinter, and this is probably what you want to see from him in a jump out, but the way he extends here and just lets down, I thought this is probably the best I've seen him jump out for a while. Ben Mullum goes aboard here, and he just looks to be doing everything very comfortably there. So, at sort of $12 in a race where it has a few holes at the top of the market, I think that sort of Caulfield race where Sartorial Splendor and Muntasira come out of, I'm happy to be against that. I think William Thomas is probably the next best of them, and he'll be the swooper. So, $12, maybe a little saviour there, but pretty keen red can man for Jay Carr. She could be in for a big day there, Jamie Carr.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. But, I sort of love the 1100 and 1200 metre races up the straight at Flemington. You always seem to get a good price there about your winners there, and it's a really competitive racing. All right, that's a wrap from us from the Flemington preview, but make sure you check out puntingforms.com.au, one of our big sponsors there. You can access the data like these guys do. They've got a new track bias and lane stats available with every runner, and they've got this new thing, the jockey and trainer combination, so it's all smack bang there right in front of you in the form guide. So they've unearthed more data. You can pick up a sectional Proform account for $2.97 a month, and Sugar Shane will give you a private tutorial as well if you can't figure it out for yourself, but it's fantastic stuff. puntingform.com.au. We'll take a break and we'll talk to Judas, our man Johnny Walter, and we'll talk about Rosehill Racing next. Welcome back to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host Scoot. I've got DK here and Nico Noonan. And now it's time to fly north to the Gold Coast to chat to our favourite man, John Douglas Walter from Racing Watch. How are you, Dougie?
A bit depressed, but saw DK's face. I'm back now. I'm back.
Mate, you run out of petrol the other day. You made it to the Bowser, and then there's a sign pop up, and it says cash only, no card. Can't you find a way?
40Ks. I've done 120K drive on the 40Ks. The thing I just felt I actually wanted to run out of petrol on the highway. I just really wanted that pain. It was right in peak of rush hour. Get to the Bowser. No cards. Who carries? Fuck, I've got no cash. I've got 18 kids. So, yeah. Anyway, I went in and did a deal with old Mahatma Code in there, and we got away.
There's Little Birdie told me that you've swapped the Hulk juice out and you've
What's the
turned
new one?
red.
New rule. What's the new one?
Hold on.
Hang on.
Hold the phone.
Good TV, this. When you're hot, and when
There
you're not,
it is.
you're ordinary. And now he's gone to the
Zero
Connie's
sugar.
Raspberry.
raspberry.
The best of the weekend.
You're an
Yeah,
absolute
you're a-
psychopath. I don't know how you drink it. All right, let's talk Rose Hill. We found you the worst possible race. You absolutely hate the card, so let's talk about the 4X WJ McKell Cup over 2,000 metres. These horses will be getting dizzy. They go around that often. Stockman $5, Parry Sound $6, Yonkers $6, So You Win $6.50, Approach Discreet $8, Lord Mayor, Woogok, Berberdeck, Brutality all $11. Yuck. How good's this one?
Yuck. Well, it's yuck, but it's not that. Your brass Yonkers, it's got your form, so we don't even anticipate it taking part. Line through it. Line through most of the others that are coming through those other, like your Berberdeck. I thought, it's got a terrible setup coming through weak races. Brutality was pretty ordinary there the other day. Can probably improve if it's bottomless, but most of them are, you're containing to those same horses that have been going around and round. And I thought Stockman was, drawn one, can settle closer than last time. I don't really like them 24 back to 2,000, which both of the horses I like are, but they're both probably horses that are better suited at 2,000. Woogok hopefully gets full control this time, and if that rain keeps coming, which is predicted a little bit, I think they put up an 8 today and then rain on Saturday. If that comes, Woogok will bowl along. Hopefully Stockman will be third the fence or 3 back the fence and has got a better turn of foot than I think Parry Sound and others in the race. So I think a 2-horse play, those I've got Stockman more confidence than Woodok in not my sort of race. I'm tipping in 2,000 metre races. It hurts me a lot.
It's Woogok's 8 from 14 on a heavy.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good. I see another
He
one of
just
ours.
grows an absolute lead, doesn't he?
Another one of ours is Approach Discreet's gone up there.
Very good wet tracker. Approach Discreet. I don't know if his form's sort of good enough to
Month
win this.
between
Walter.
runs. Yeah, month between runs too. And I had a look at him and he went okay the other day. Looked like he had a barrier trial, but I just wonder why he's 4 weeks between runs.
Yeah, not sure. I think he's a horse that'd probably be looking for further of what he's sort of done throughout his career. Maybe, I think he won over 2,400 sort of last spring in Sydney, so maybe they're looking to get him back out towards that sort of trip. Looking at the race, like Yonkers, like Walt said, brings in the Melbourne form. I don't think it's generally like legless coming to Sydney, but he does look a bit sort of used up. Fell in last start in a pretty weak race. It just seems a day full of wild numbers
He's
there
far
at
from
Rose Hill.
legless. Yeah, I'm geeing up, but he has had every possible down there his last few, and I agree with you. Like he just was. He wasn't busting through the line there the other day when he won. He was pretty weak late.
Yeah, and he's had a big prep. Like he's sort of raced since February all the way through. He's probably going to come to the end of it soon. What about the Lord Mayor with J-Mac getting aboard?
He's a horse that I love, and I've been trying to catch him all prep, and he's just not hitting the he nearly had the race in his keeping there the other day. Looked like he just had it over, and he's got beat two and a bit. He was probably a length in front with 150 to go. So I know they went quick there, and he was probably vulnerable late. But he's got gate 12. He had a nice gate the other day. I know J-Mac's a freak, but he'll have to be. And you're just watching these horses for him lately with Waller when they're firming, and J-Mac's on there running through brick walls. So maybe if the money arrives for him, I could entertain him more seriously. But he's had about 10 runs in this prep and never really looked the winner.
So we're Stockman and Woogok with a weather watch, racing watch, rain watch. Was that a Freudian slip before, Walt? Did you have a moral in race 4, the 2,000 metre race?
I think so. I think it's the same combination we were just talking about. J-Mac Waller, no compromise, coming back from 2,400 to 2,000. The pet hate again, but with the wet track, and this horse is pretty lightly raced. 3 weeks between runs. I think it'll round them up. You got that Lakeens, the favourite, 5 weeks between runs. Had a little tick over trial, but I thought he had the Achiever beat there last start, ran up to him and didn't want to put him away. Now you got to go 5 weeks, heavy track, and he's 59 again. I think this no compromise is a pretty smart horse. I think J-Mac will probably just slot in wherever he feels like, chime in. And I thought the danger, again, the same sort of play as the other races. And this one, it's a non-winner, Monsieur's Hisu, but he could control up front. And if the fence is okay with that rail out a long way, it'll keep bobbing. And I think No Compromise will be chiming in down the middle pretty strongly.
There we have it. So race 4, number 6, No Compromise at 380 with TopSport. Let's talk about the big bets. This won't interest Walt, but a horse that DK touched upon early. Race 4, number 12, Lindhot from the Enver Yusovic yard. So it's been $7.50 into $6. And the other one, this was an absolute oney last start. Race 7, number 1, Curran. 1,000 at $6.
This is amazing. Having an amazing preparation for a first prep, that horse. Yeah.
They backed it last start like it was over the line, wasn't it?
They backed it to beat Ayrton.
Well, that's right.
Starts
And that's where they're telling you that horse is, everyone thought Ayrton was a one-horse race that day, and then they got $1.80 because they backed this thing into $5.50. So the models knew this had it in the bank of what it showed them, and it's continued on with it. So it's just, I know it's getting deep, but it's Jesus.
He's deep in the prep and up in the weights.
Kid on it with no claim, 2 runs in a row.
Oh, well, his mum and grandma are the trainers, so I don't think he's ever going to get the bone. So that's probably why he's on there.
Right. Probably far that.
He's a nice horse, isn't he?
Is it too soon for Ayrton? Walt, you opposed at last start? Covered job?
I just love that I thought that I'd get all the favours off it, and my horse gave it all the favours, but it was well and truly too strong. And I thought Timmy would be there camping and deciding where to go. He decided to take off, and it was a good ride. He didn't have much choice, but then J-Mac just pops out and says, well, fuck you, race over.
I was looking for some late vulnerability in the betting there, and there just wasn't any Walt, was there? He was just rock solid at those short odds, He didn't drift out to a softish even money late or anything, which might have said there might have been a little chink.
I would have bet you an even 10 he'd get to evens. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah,
he never looked like it.
No, he was absolute rock solid. So.
Yeah, that surprised me too. Yeah, another good ride from Tim on Converge. Walt.
Yeah. I was very happy to have him going for about 200 the start before and not $1 on Saturday. That was another thanks for you guys have lined this up, have you? I'm really feeling good about myself coming into this program. But no, he's a good little bulldog, that horse. I was a bit surprised that the betting was so even earlier in the week, but they worked it out by race time that he was the horse to beat. And I think talking to Timmy after the race, he wished he worked out that you need to ride him a bit off speed in the Champagne. He might have got away with that as well.
Yeah, incredible, isn't it? It's just a bit of a change of fortune for that one, and different tactics from that camp. So maybe Gay's still learning as well.
Yep, no,
Does Gay really do much these days, or is it just bot?
I tell you what.
Well, pre-race, there's no talking to Wado about tactics or anything like that. It's all Gay, and they still get their info from Robbie and stuff, like how the tracks are going to play and stuff. So she's still a real presence around. I don't know if she gets to the tower as much as she used to, but she's still a presence in the stable. And, she definitely has last say, I would imagine, in 99% of where horses go and what they do.
I did see the footage of Adrian Bott after that JJ Atkins win, and he had a bit of John Gosden about him. He must have been supremely confident because he didn't give away too much emotion. It was almost smug, like the way he just sort of walked back to the man.
And that's his camp too. Like that's his. I don't know. I think it's his dad runs that Atunga stud, which is all the. And so the fellow who owns that, I think, is the one who bought the Waterhouse Racing or whatever you want to call it, that now owns it. So it was as bigger moment for him as you could imagine. I'd say first Group 1 for that camp and him and he was pretty stoic.
Yeah, it was amazing. You probably needed a cattle prod to make sure he feels away. It was just really caught me by surprise. It was almost as if he'd absolutely back. Well, it's probably a big bet for them, but it was like he'd had a fortune on it, and he was just like,
relief.
Yeah, more relief. It was really it was a head scratcher.
Could come into the same sort of boat though, because a horse like Converge wins that race now. Say he goes on and wins a Golden Rose, he's probably a 15-20 million colt.
No, he's got no balls. He's a Frankel with no balls.
No. Well, that's no good to him then, is it?
So he'll go to Hong Kong. He'll go to Hong Kong eventually, whether it's for the Derby in 12 months or so or whatever. But he'll end up over there, I would imagine.
Big money.
Just like all our good geldings, all over there.
Well, that's a good way to finish the show. Thanks, Walt. Good luck with the fuel in the car. Always carry a couple of hundred in the glove box. I'm surprised you don't.
Good luck with the positive COVID at South Bank. Well done.
Thanks, mate. All right, that's
See you
that's a wrap from us. Make sure you check us out on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, on YouTube if you want to watch the replays. Been a bumper show. Hopefully we can get a hat full of cash at Murray Bridge. Hopefully there's something there at Flemington for Nico. DK.
Donald Duck, Saturday.
Yeah.
Big meeting at Donald Duck.
You've been going all right around the edges.
Been going, yeah, quite weak this week.
What's your strike rate at the moment for DK at what? 26, what is it? 26 out of 56 or 25 out of 56?
Yeah, something like that. Was that 40% or something strike
Killing
rate?
them.
Yeah, so we're quite weak. We had Mornington Monday, which I don't like. We're back to winner Tuesday. Metro, I don't play Wednesday. Today's hurdlers on a heavy 9.
You got Geelong.
Tomorrow. Geelong's a bit of a deep meeting tomorrow. All the good jockeys are going. They're big fields. They all like these. I like these Geelong Friday meetings, but sometimes they're good to do the form out of rather than bet into.
Yep.
But definitely Donald on Saturday, and I think Bendigo and Ballarat Sunday. So there'll be a bit of fat on the bone there, hopefully, on the weekend. Then we're over for quite week.
Wangaratta next Monday. Can we go the railway?
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. I'll get the form done. And we'll go down. And back have a steak and a bottle of red and back a couple of winners. That'd be nice, wouldn't it, Scoot?
Outstanding. We're due. All right. Good luck on the weekend, guys, and we'll see you next week.